Back everybody after some difficulty, actually not that much, but coming back here with this video, this resumption of showing Turtles. I'm showing here a Super Nintendo game being run on the NES Advantage right now through my my hacked multiplayer device for the Super Nintendo, which connects to the parallel port of my PC. So again, here's Turtles 4 Turtles in Time. And this is a 2-button game, and here are the 2 buttons working. So I had some problems, but it's working. So you see it's working great too. Hard to play the game with one hand, but it works just fine. And using the NES Advantage would work fine with this game because it only requires 2 buttons, A and B, like the arcade game. Now we'll switch over, we'll have a little more fun. We'll go over to Street Fighter 2. I don't know why you wouldn't want to use something like this on Street Fighter 2 unless you really want to play the game kind of crippled with only using 2 of the 6 buttons, but it does work, just to show you, and it's kind of funny. So here's Super Street Fighter 2. Push start. It's actually possible to do moves with one hand. It's hard to do. You see here I only have the medium punch and medium kick. That's all I have. Like I set it on turbo. Maybe this is even the weak. I think that's the weak. Yeah, it's weak, not the medium. So, but it works. It doesn't work well, obviously, with only 2 buttons. But for what it is, only 2 buttons, it works well. Can't expect too much more, can you? I'll put it on turbo and do this. I could do this mode, right? Maybe. Really cheap combo. Did you think that the computer's very good at dodging that? Maybe. That's because I'm hitting the punch button a little bit in here. No, it does work, as you could see, on NES. So this pretty much concludes the Nintendo to using a Nintendo controller through this device through my hacked extension cord here. And you can see it does work, and it works nicely. And these A and B buttons correspond with the A and Y button on the Super Nintendo controller. And if you configure this controller, just make sure to configure these as your 2 main buttons in any games, and you can get the NES controller to work just by plugging it in after that. So it's a little more work to configure in an emulator, I suppose, but it works. So I don't think there's much more to show here other than to summarize that all the controllers I have for the Nintendo, the NES Advantage, the original D-pad, the dog phone D-pad from the, I think, early 90s. I think it was 90s, I don't think it was the 80s. Yeah, this is from the 90s. This terrible QuickShot controller, which I don't recommend, but it does work with the NES. The Zapper does not. So, I'm guessing controllers like the NES Max would work, and other controllers. I don't own the NES Max, and I don't own any other controllers. This is the full extent of the different types of controller I own for the NES. And just to make a note, I did try one other controller with this device years ago, I had bought a Arkanoid controller for cheap at a local GameStop, which I later sold on eBay and made a profit on it. And the Arkanoid controller did not work with this device. I did try it. So you can rule out using the Arkanoid controller with this. It didn't work. So I did own another controller. I've never tried the power pad with this. I'm guessing it doesn't work, but I don't know. That would be very interesting if some of you have a device like this. A question I would have is, does the power pad work? I think my friend has a power pad. Maybe I'll borrow it one day and try it. I'm going to guess no, but I don't know. It would be interesting and fun to see. So, thank you for watching my video, and if you have any questions, please leave them. I'll be happy to answer any questions that I can possibly do regarding this topic of connecting original controllers to the PC for use with emulators. I'm very deep into that part of the hobby and the hobby in general, so please go ahead and ask any questions. Thank you.